Hey guys, it's Scarlet. I'm back with another gameplay video and today I have Leblanc mirror match. So let's see how it goes. So I start with a dice roll and I roll a 16. And of course my opponent rolls a 17. Yay! So my opponent chooses to go first and now we sideboard. Because it's a best of one, we can choose each other's battlefield and my opponent picks Dust Rose Lab for me. And I pick Windswept Lock for my opponent, which is terrible because my opponent is going first, but what can you do? Okay, and now we begin, and in my hand I have 1 Kaisa, 2 Seals, and 1 Wages of Pain. So I'm thinking about what to mold and I put down 1 Seal. And I'm thinking if I want to mold 1 more, because I have no 2 drops in my hand, right? I have no 2 drops in my hand and I'm going second, so preferably I want a 2 drop so that I don't have to return my rune. So I mold the Kaisa and the seal and I got another seal. Which is just great because you know I can only have 3 seals in my hand, right? So my opponent goes first and they play the Honest Broker for their first turn and then it comes to me. And I have no yellow rune, so I can't even cast Leblanc if I wanted to. So this is ultimate bad luck. I guess what the only thing I can do here would to be play the Wages of Pain. But I also don't really know if it was very worth it, to be honest. But hey, yeah, I'm thinking about it. I was like, oh wait, I forgot to draw for turn. And it's like, okay, my boss like, oh yeah, please do draw. So I managed to save myself with a 2 drop. Let me know what you think, if whether I should have just went with the Wages of Pain or I should have went with the Watchful Sentry. Because in my mind, I would think that going for more units usually is better. But in the case, my 2 drop was a Watchful Sentry, which is a 1 might. So I can't even clear the board when it's my turn and my units are ready. So what my opponent doing now is they're using the legend ability to tap Leblanc, mirror, and then gank over with the Windswept Lock, which just allows my opponent to kind of snowball in the points. So now they're up to 2 and they're not tapped yet. So now they're playing 3 and I think they will most probably play Leblanc, or maybe they have a Cartus in their hand. It seems to be the Leblanc from the board. And then they end their turn and it comes to me. So here's the thing, if in my first turn I played that Wages of Pain, I think I wouldn't be behind on points now. Even though my opponent would have gold on the board. So I think probably maybe Wages of Pain would have been better. Because now my Watchful Sentry is smaller than the Honest Broker, which I can't clear the battlefield. Alright, so what I'm doing is I am playing a seal to play another seal. And then I'm using the seal to probably play Leblanc, if I'm not wrong. So I think over here I'm thinking if I want to still use the Wages of Pain because that will let me conquer. And then if I conquer, I can use my legend ability. I'm pretty sure that's what I was thinking in my head. I decided to play the Wages of Pain, which really feels like too little too late. Because now I kill the Honest Broker, my opponent gets the gold token. But in my mind I was a bit conflicted because I thought like, would it be better to use the Wages of Pain, get the gold, and then at least have a point with the battlefield? Or would it be better to just play my Leblanc, right? So I discard the second Leblanc that I have in my hand. I duplicate the Watchful Sentry and that's kind of it. This doesn't feel like the best move because I end my turn and my opponent can come up with their Leblanc. So it's basically free units for him. But I guess in my mind it was also okay, I get the point, and if he does hit me, I can draw 2. But I don't think overall that is the best play. I should have just played that Wages of Pain in the first turn, I think. Let me know what you think. Okay, so my opponent kills the Leblanc, the mirrored Leblanc, and then he draws. So my opponent comes up with the Leblanc to kill my 2 Watchful Sentries, and I draw 2. So my opponent goes up to 3 points, and because they conquered, they're using their legend ability. They discard the Thousand Tail Watcher, and they reflect and they gank. So they go up to 4 points. Oh man, I'm watching a train wreck. Oh, it was so bad. It's so bad, guys. Okay. And then my opponent still has 5 runes up, so they can probably play Glass Mixologist. Oh, okay, I think they're going for a Cutters. Okay. That's correct. Oh, and they end their turn with 2 runes up. So back to me, I have no units on the board and I only have 6 runes. And I'm at 1 point, so I am 3 points behind. This is terrible. I draw for turn. Can't see what I got from the draws from my Watchful Sentry. It seems to be a Sprite. So assuming that I have Sprite in my hand, oh, I can only trade with the Leblancs on the board. So I think what I could do would be to play the Sprite, maybe attack the Leblanc, trade. Damn. If I trade, I don't conquer means I can't gang. Yeah, if I don't clear my opponent's board, the next turn they will be able to hold, and then duplicate, and then gank over, and then they'll go up to 6, because they're currently at 4. So they'll be at 4, then 6, then 8, and then they win, right? So I think like I'm not really in a very good spot here. Just trying to find a way out of this situation, because even if I class Leblanc now, she won't be ready until my next turn. So I decided to go for the Sprite Fountain, and I use a buff to signify that it's a Sprite Fountain. And then I'm thinking about where I want to go, so I'm probably gonna go for the Windswept, because the Leblanc at Windswept is the one that will hold for the points. So my opponent gets to draw 2 because they have cutters on the board. I can't really do much else. I can't play my Glass Mixologist. It's also very sad that I only have 3 cards in my hand. Oh, actually I'm going for cutters. Oh, okay. So I guess playing the cutters is also good, because when it's back to my turn, I will get 2 sprites instead of 1. Although the sprites are not very strong, I guess it's better than nothing. Okay, so back to my opponent's turn. They kill the Leblanc Mirror at the Dastro's Lab, so they draw 1 for that. Then because it's the beginning phase, they draw 2, so that's 3. And then because of the cutters repeat, they draw 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Damn, that's a lot of cards. Okay, so I have 2 cards in my hand, and my opponent has that stack. Okay, this is a big fat stack. So I'm basically in trouble because I'm at 1 point and my opponent's at 4. Even if they didn't play an accelerated unit, as long as they came out with their cutters, they duped it and moved it over, and then play more things, I probably have a hard time dealing with it, because the only thing I have on my board is 1 cutters and possibly 2 sprites later. So my opponent comes out with the cutters to the Windswept Hillock. I say okay, and then they go up to 5. They use their legend ability and they discard Ruin Rex. And then they use a mirror, and then they gank over to the Dastro's Lab to go up to 6. So I'm really sweating because my next turn I will only have 8 runes. So maybe a 1000-Tail Watcher could save me. But unfortunately, my opponent plays Cull the Weak. They cull the copy of their cutters, and then my cutters has to die, which is very sad. It means that next turn I won't have 2 sprites, I only have 1 sprite. So in that case, I could only trade with the cutters on the Windswept Hillock, best case, sort of, you know. My opponent plays another Leblanc, and they play on the battlefield with cutters. So now I'm dealing with a 6 might on the Windswept Hillock, and I'm just have to figure out something with my runes in my turn. So my opponent ends his turn and it's back to me, and I'm just hoping and praying that my next draw is a 1000-Tail Watcher. For sure. Okay, 2 runes, so now I'm up to 8, and I don't know what I drew. What did I draw? Must be despairing because I didn't even want to look at it. So at the beginning phase, my sprite fountain dies and the sprite comes in. So in my hand, I have 1 Ruination, 1 Glass Mixologist, and 1 Mirror Image which I just drew. So if I'm not wrong, I think I'm gonna play a Glass Mixologist. Then I'm thinking of mirroring the Glass Mixologist to go up to the Windswept Hillock. That's my guess. So I tap 3 to play my Mirror Image. And then I use 1 seal and I return 1 rune to pay for it. So I'm gonna mirror my Glass Mixologist. So now I have 8 might going up to Windswept Hillock. And I'm hoping and praying that my opponent can't do anything with their 2 runes. So my opponent lets me pass and retrade units. So they choose my Glass Mixologist mirror to die. And then because of the Leblanc and Cutters, they draw 2. So in my Glass Mixologist Death Knell, I bring back Leblanc to the battlefield and then I go up to 2 points. So from there, I'm using my Legend ability, and I was so lucky because I only had 1 card left in my hand. If I had no hand left, I would not be able to play my Legend ability. So it was only it was the last card I got, which was the Ruination. So I copied the Leblanc, and then I used the Leblanc to gank over to the Dust Rose Lab, and then I go up to 3 points. So at this point, I'm totally tapped out. If my opponent can double conquer and clear both units, which is pretty easy. Yep, and the Thousand Tail Watcher comes and they win. Because my opponent can come up with the Thousand Tail Watcher and then they mirror it using the Legend ability, gank over, and then double conquer and win. Overall, I made a lot of mistakes here and there, and this was my first ever Leblanc mirror. So I definitely need to get more practice in for these types of mirror matches. I think the way that you play against a mirror versus how you play other decks will be very different. So I definitely need to practice more matchups. Hope you guys enjoyed today's gameplay video. I felt like I was getting steamrolled, not gonna lie. Let me know what you thought about our gameplay in the comments down below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. We are so close to hitting the 500 subscriber giveaway, so remember to click that button down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Ooh, out!